Hi, I'm Donna Davidge, Amrita. Welcome back to Soul House Yoga Retreat YouTube channel, or welcome if it's your first time. We're actually in the yoga studio here in Northern Maine at Soul House Yoga Retreat. And I'm really glad that someone wrote and asked me to do something specific. And that is the pose of inversions, the poses of inversions. We're going to look at shoulder stand and plow. Earlier, I did a baby boomer version when I was down in Dominican Republic up against the wall, and that is a great way to start learning. If you already know this posture, or if you're pretty flexible in your lower back and belly are pretty okay, then this one is a great pose to do. So without further ado, let's do it. I'm going to do it first without the blankets. The blankets work better for me at this stage of the game for me. So I'll explain to you why when I do it. You want to be on the back of your head, and theoretically, you do not want to move your head. So if I move my head to speak to you, don't do that when you're doing it. So you're going to come down, and you're going to be on the back of your head. You're going to bolt the back of your head to the floor. That's pretty important. So if you're worried about your neck, you don't have to be. So then you're going to bring your knees into the chest, and you need a little oomph here. That's where you need some strength in your belly and some strength in your lower back. If you have lower back issues, you may not be ready for this one yet. And you're going to inhale and bring your hands to your back. And again, I'm moving my head, but don't move yours. Just take a look at this first. My head is bolted, so theoretically I am moving it comfortably side to side, but I don't recommend that. And then to open up your spine more, you start out with your legs behind you. They don't have to touch the floor. They can be straight or bent. This is a nice one, very deep, called ear hugging pose. Or you can work on having them straight, which is the classic way to do it. You might be here, whatever works for you. Then your hands come up your back as much as you can. A lot of people are on their lower back, that's fine. And you bring one leg or both legs up at the same time, and you push your back in. And this is Sarvangasana shoulder stand. Legs as straight as possible. There are variations, maybe we'll do that some other time, or I'll look and see if I've done it before on this channel. Anyway, here we are. Now, I'm going to show you with the blankets today because that gets me more vertical. And so that's what you want, is you want to be vertical. I also sometimes use a soft bolster here. You got to be careful to do this properly. You want to get right on top of your shoulders, called the acromion process. And so sometimes it takes a little doing, and this is a little bit more of a balancing act. So please be careful. You could start maybe with one folded up blanket. If you don't have a yoga blanket, try a regular blanket at home. And so here we go. I'm going to see if I can come right to the edge. This is actually for people who have neck issues recommended because your neck is a bit softer here. I'm going to come right to the edge. And then if I have problems getting up, which sometimes I do when I use my bolster, I've got to put a block under here to give me a little more oomph, but I think I'm going to get it today. So here I go. Yep, oomph. I'm right on my shoulders. I'm going into my plow, making sure my head is okay. Now, I'm going to take my hands on my back up towards my rib cage. That is where you want to go. And again, if you're not there yet, that's okay. Walk your elbows in as much as you can, legs as straight as you can. Theoretically, my ankles should be over my shoulders, which I think they are more now than when I was off the blanket. So the blanket gives me a better Sarvangasana, a better shoulder stand. And this is a complete pose. It's called the queen of all yoga poses. It's really good to do. Hold it for as long as it's comfortable for you. Really good for your thyroid. Reverses the effects of gravity on your circulation and your internal organs. Just a wonderful posture. To come out of it, be careful, especially if you're on the blankets. I like to bend my knees. And when I'm not on the blanket, I roll out of it vertebra by vertebra. A little different on the blanket. So I'm going to inhale and roll out of on my blanket. I'm still feeling vertebra by vertebra. Oh, that feels great. And then you might just bring your feet to the floor, or again, with the blanket, not as convenient. But if you're doing it without the blanket, just hug your knees in for a moment, let your spine release. This is such a fabulous pose. Okay, so that is it. To come up from this posture, you can roll onto your side, or if your back is happy rocking and rolling, which I love to do, you're going to hug your knees in. And you're going to rock and roll back and forth, breathing along your spine. So there we have shoulder stand, Sarvangasana, and plow, halasana, with or without the support of the blankets, which is an Iyengar way of doing it, the most anatomical form of yoga, insists that you use those blankets. And I think it actually is a great idea. But if you don't have them and you don't feel you need them, not everybody does, just see what works in your body. So thanks for asking me to do that posture. I'll come back with some variations on that one at some point when I have time. In the meantime, thanks so much. I hope this is helping you and have a great day. Namaste.